Welcome to your favourite day of the week, everyone, where today we'll be travelling through time to discover some of the most weird and wonderful foods that have ever been eaten throughout history. Before we embark on this amazing adventure, please do like the video if you do enjoy the content, and if you haven't yet, why not give that subscribe button a little tickle? It really helps support the restaurant, and we can continue bringing you guys amazing meals such as Caesar's salad and Marco Polo's pepperoni pizza. So sit back, order your meal from today's menu, and let us know what you had in the comments. What food did you want? And I'll take you through some of the most weird, wonderful, crazy, wacky, strange foods that have been eaten throughout time. Away we go. Number 1, the dormouse. The edible or fat dormouse was a delicacy in ancient Rome and appeared on the tables of the wealthy Romans as a delicious dish and a sign of prosperity. They are much larger than a regular sized dormouse and named because, as you guessed it, they were edible and fat. The Romans were the first to develop the taste of these lovable rodents, and they would capture them, keep them in special pens, and then fatten them up by feeding them walnuts, chestnuts and acorns, similarly to how turkeys are fattened up every Christmas. Once plump enough, the dormouse was served as a savoury appetizer or a delicious dessert. They were either roasted with honey and poppy seeds, or they were stuffed with pine nuts, pork and other spices and then baked. It was extremely important to the upper class Romans that the dormouse was separated from other products of the hunt, like large game. And also, if you were hosting a feast, you'd serve the dormouse and you'd get scribes there writing down the weight of your dormouse and telling it to the other guests, because the fatter your dormouse was, the more money you had.
Wey lads, look at the size of my dormouse! Absolutely massive, wey!
Number 2, the Cockentryce. No, the Cockentryce isn't just a fantastic name for a Pokemon, its origins actually date back to Tudor England. Medieval chefs were quite the innovators, you see. Feasts would comprise of many different dishes that would be normal for us today, but the chefs also came up with amazing edible concoctions, with the Cockentryce being one of these. The Cockentryce was comprised of top half pig and bottom half chicken, and similarly to other hybrid animals such as the mermaid, it was a lot less attractive. It can also be made with pig half bottom and chicken half top, and then the whole thing was stuffed, roasted and covered in egg yolks and saffron before being served to very lucky dinner guests. There is also variations of the Cockentryce, where the bird is mounted on top of the pig, flying the coat of arms of the guests to honour them, and is called the helmeted cock. It was a real treat googling that to find out information for this. Number 3, beaver's tails. In the Middle Ages, the church had great influences on people's eating habits. For Christians and Catholics, consumption of meat and animal products was forbidden on fast days, which around this time of the Middle Ages may have been from up to a third of the year to half of it. As with any such rule that forbids people from doing something, people will always find loopholes to try and circumvent these rules, which is exactly what happened here. While animal products were not allowed, fish was, and the definition of fish for medieval people became broader and broader, with marine and semi-aquatic animals such as whales, puffins and beavers were allowed to be eaten. In medieval Europe, the Catholic Church considered the beaver to be part beast and part fish, and allowed followers to eat the scaly, fish-like tail on meatless Fridays during Lent. Beaver tails were thus a delicacy in Europe and were described by the French naturalist Pierre Billon as having the flavour of a nicely dressed eel. Number 4, garum. Garum was similar to ketchup in ancient Rome. It was used by the Romans on everything and anything they could eat. To make garum, fish intestines, blood, salt and herbs were combined and then left to sit in the sun for up to 3 months. It was extremely popular for the Romans, and production was a major part of economies for cities like Pompeii. The fermentation of garum would absolutely stink, however. Fish blood and fish guts sat in the sun for up to 3 months would be an absolute mess. I'm sure Hugo Boss won't be too keen to sign their next fragrance deal with a garum producer. It would be disgusting. And because of this absolutely rancid smell, people were only allowed to ferment garum outside of cities as to not kill your neighbours with the smell. Makes sense. Garum also had many other uses, such as mixing with wine, diluting with water to drink, and also used in medicine to treat ailments such as diarrhea and constipation. A good bottle of Garum in ancient Rome could cost as much as $500 in today's money. So next time you're at the shop spending $500 on, say, like a TV, why not think to yourself, hang on, I don't want this TV, I want a bottle of stinky fish sauce, that will cure my toilet troubles. Number 5. Cock ale. Whether you're in your local gay club or a person in 17th century England, cock ale would have been a drink enjoyed by many. To make this fantastic mixture, ale would be brewed as normal, to which later added was a boiled cock whose bones had been ground up in a mortar, as well as raisins, nutmegs and dates. Cock ale was described in the 1725 New Canting Dictionary as a pleasant drink said to be provocative, meaning it excited lust and aroused sexual desire. The first mention of cock ale appears in Thomas Drew's play, The Life of the Duchess in Suffolk, in 1631, when one Tyler says to another, "Let's dow our day's work in an hour, and drink our sallies drunk all the day after," and his colleague answers, "Wope, why the cock ale has spurred thee already." The boys would drink their cock ale and then head out on a night on the town to try and get lucky. I bet you never thought you'd hear that sentence in your life. Number 6. Number 6. Mock turtle soup. In 18th century Britain, turtle soup began to rise in popularity, with the turtles being imported from the West Indies. With royalty enjoying the turtle soup, everyone wanted to get their hands on this new dish. There was such a magnitude for demand for turtle in England during this period that the green turtle population declined massively, and subsequently the cost of turtle soup and turtles rose. The turtles' huge bodies were made up of different cuts of meats, tasting of veal, beef, fish, ham and pork, which made it extremely appealing to people and not just for the soup. Turtle soup was incredibly time consuming and became expensive to prepare, and by the 19th century, tinned or dried turtle was often used instead. If you had turtle soup at your feast at this point, the guests knew you had a bit of extra money lying around. As an alternative to the rising costs of turtle soup, imitations such as mock turtle soup began to materialise, which used brains and organs such as calf's heads to imitate the texture and flavour of the popular green turtle. By the late 19th century, commercial brands of canned mock turtle soup were available, and advertising warned consumers to beware of imitations. Mock turtle soup became a British classic, and Heinz even made a canned version as one of their Heinz 57 products. In the United States, mock turtle soup eventually became more popular than the original dish, and is still popular in Cincinnati. In Alice's trip to Wonderland, she even met a mock turtle who was depressed that he was no longer a real turtle. So there ends our list of some weird and wonderful foods eaten throughout history. What would be your favourite to try? I'd want to try the cock ale personally, because it gets the juices flowing and the blood rushing. If you haven't yet, please do finish up your meal and get out my restaurant, it is closing time. Like the video as well and subscribe if you haven't already. I've been Jamie's Day, your favourite day of the week, and this was the most weird, wonderful, wacky, crazy, strange, weird, wonderful, dictionary, thesaurus, cinnamon, Amazon Prime, Pokemon whiteboard list you've ever heard in your life. I'll see you all next time. Peace. The fermentation of garum would absolutely stink, however. I mean, fish guts and